So what really is Ralph's schism? Well, if I say the following few sentences, there are those out there who will say, oh, this is all for the elites. I'm afraid it isn't. If you listen to Start the Week this morning, David Goodhart is on there. And some feminist, bossy boots, senior, whatever woman. I can't go into my pigsty. They're talking about the disaster in the family. And she, but he as well, he can't say anything useful. David Goodhart is one of the most influential people in Britain. He, lest I forget, the magnificent Sarah Hayder has done a talk. Now, there's two on a special place in hell. Two talks that I've listened to quite carefully. One's got Bro Rogan in the title. The other one, I think, has got Douglas Murray in the title. The one with Douglas Murray, she speaks about, I mean, what a brain. We need brains who are a bit outside the box. She quite rightly says, because this is relevant, she quite rightly says that, oh, these mega talks now, Douglas Murray has thousands of people going to see him. Douglas Murray has become very problematical. I, of course, agree with him on free speech, ultimately, or did in the past. But free speech is difficult in Britain. Ralph Schism has some bits and bobs of living essay on free speech. One day I'll collect them all together, but I don't think there's much point in Britain. I mean, what Ralph Schism really is, don't worry, I haven't got two tangents or threads left unravelled there. It's a postmodern reflection on there's no point saying anything. No one can follow anything. Now, I'm a student of the best kind of modern, or postmodern film, which sometimes they have films within films and all of that. There's no point. Nobody can coherently keep a concept there and weave it into that concept there, just next to it. Perfect example. So just while we're doing Sarah Hayder, yeah, she says, so these spectaculars. Now, I used to go, I've put a comment on one of hers, it's because it's wonderful to hear somebody say, rather than say what sounds good, oh, I think it's wonderful we gather and go and worship at the of Douglas Murray. She says, no, there's nothing, you don't come away with anything useful in this. And she even makes a comment saying, people used to come to her university and do talks in lecture theatres, and they were just trying to score points to make them look good. You get so much more from a book, or whatever. So she says that. Now, I've never heard anybody say that. I lived by Hay on Wye. My comment says for many years, 5 miles, 10 kilometres away. And I realised this after 5 or 10 years. I'm just going along to make myself look good to myself. I used to go and see all the speakers. The one interesting one was, oh no, we won't, well, I've got to keep this so short. So A, there's a thinker for you. I wish there were thinkers. And B, she's talking intelligently, yes, about free speech, which should not be about what podcasters can say. Free speech is about calling out evil in your regional community. And unfortunately, the whole damn thing is being diverted. But I think she quite rightly says, but not clearly enough, on the segment on the Joe Rogan, that's right. She says, well, having this awful person, Alex Jones, on board, yes, we should encounter all of these nutcases. That's the only way we see through them. Anyway, that's a long discussion, which others have been having, but I respect her immensely. But even her, I wish she'd just keep it simple. You've got to hear all voices, because the only way that the ordinary person, democracy is the ordinary person seeing through all the nutcases. Anyway, what is Ralph Schism? Yes, so this morning, David Goodhart, who was the editor of Prospect for many years, who was very much involved in the Hay Festival, for example, which is not a festival. I can't stand the word festival. It's a gathering of the thinkers and the writers and the politicians too. And People like Goodhart have an immense influence into the political class and the media class. And there they are discussing care. Can we do it? Blah, blah, blah. Listen to the whole damn thing. But nowhere do they mention there is only one fundamental thing. I mean, they're lying. They are lying about the whole of British society. And she turns it into some feminist argument. Oh, no, we knew that 40 years ago everybody should do 50-50 of the housework and childcare. That's an argument. Right, but here's the point. Nowhere do they say what is the underlying fundamental thing about British society, more so than Europe. You can actually see it in the film. There's a film called Waterfront about Liverpool. I think it's the 1951 called Waterfront. I've got to find it. I saw it some time ago. Britain is obsessed with bling. The reason nobody has any time to care for their children and their old people, the old people thing's a bit different because that's never been viable. The state cannot afford. No European country really entirely farms out the care of older people to the state. It's not viable. But right at the bottom of this, I mean, but Britain is so badly educated. My really good friends, who happen to be religious people in the Kington region, I said to them, we used to have great big long funny duels. I said to them, it's all just about one word, mammon. They didn't even know. They're officially there preaching their Bible, middle-aged guys. They didn't even know what mammon was. The reason that all the parents are under stress, not enough time to care for their children or pay for the childcare, is because they're chasing mammon. There is no society in Europe. Obviously there are bits, there are pockets in Italy, there are pockets in Paris, but there is no society on average across the board, even in rural areas. People are so desperately needful of status things, of consumerism, of mammon. And even your fucking Christians can't even simplify it. But what is mammon? It's obviously a whole bloody range of things. But you know, it's even like the amount of times I do little bits of repair work, and I'm going to repair a fence today, and an electric fence. I'm going to trim around it with this. That is, oh, by the way, Estelle, if I die, everybody I ever work for is always told, find this. This was Ralph I. It's the most beautiful piece of old equipment. But everybody for 10 or 15 years, I'm an expert at this stuff. I've been doing it since I was 10. I will just say quicker to give the weeds or whatever a quick siding. All of them look at you like you're some kind of fucking Egypt. You know, I should shove the... Ralph Schism is post-modern. There's no point saying anything because everybody wants to fight and everybody's gone thick, especially Mr. Goodhart. It's much quicker to use this than get out a strimmer. Never mind the fact that the strimmer is wear on the machinery, they're always breaking, and use of fuel. But all of these kind of nouveau country people, not the person I'm doing this job for, it's such a relief. They look at you like you're some kind of retard. I'm allowed to say spastic because my mother was 6 months away from taking thalidomide and she would have taken it. Okay? But they look like, you know, no, this is quicker and more efficient. But mammon, the bourgeois construct, the status-obsessed construct, means, oh, I've got a £300 strimmer in the garage. You're a moron, a retard, for not wanting to use that. No, I'm a proper countryman. I know what the equation of bang for buck, time and motion is. But in every way, this society, more than any in Europe, on average, is far more bourgeois, consumerist, obsessed. You can see it in that film about Liverpool. There's a scene outside George Henry Lee's. Ah, look at the bling. But none of them will say it. This is why the media turned against Corbyn, etc., etc. But Corbyn's ancient history. Today, the reason Goodhart at least is honest about one thing, our families have driven themselves mad, and it's unfixable. Children have not been cared for properly. You know, caring for children is like, is full time until they're 5 or 6, and even then I take my daughter out of school a lot to take on adventures and to see places. Or sometimes if we're fixing something at home, more important to do this fixing. Oh yes, I know you're being antisocial, Simon, because she's got to go to school and then the teacher's got to make her catch up. Ah, fuck off, they only taught her rubbish anyway, particularly in terms of her music. Anyway, I've no interest in the past. Other than, even the Goodharts cannot say, and the pathetic, unfortunately you've been sold a sop. In the place of thinking, you have morons like Russell Brand, who are just, oh, be aware, be spiritual. That word is meaningless. There's something more, full stop. But maybe there's something more is watching everybody, saying, what are you doing? Are you doing anything? Anyway, right, but being serious, totally serious, there's no point. This is a postmodernist reflection on everybody's got a butterfly brain. I can't even say that to my most educated friends, that, I'm an expert on the whole of the family dynamic, law, psychology, etc. I even worked with kind of government people. So, loosely, it's all gone bonkers because everybody's chasing mammon. Now, if I say that today, every single person I speak to, if I speak slowly and carefully, they won't remember it as the thread if we're having a conversation next time. Everybody's gone nuts. So I'm going to be filling in the holes of Ralph one day soon. It's hard work. No, it's not meant to be hard work. It's better than not hard work at all. Start at the beginning. Bits will be added in. But what is it really? At a personal level, the only intelligent, wonderful person I've met who said, Simon, Britain should be in The Hague before Serbia. That's why we should be in Britain, in The Hague, because we so chase mammon, but nobody will admit it. Particularly round in this county, it's just laughable. Oh, not the born and breds, though the majority who are incomers. In fact, I'm looking at ultra bling central towers. There is a cost to chasing mammon, but it's already happened as of the last 20 years ago. Your kids are all fucked up. It takes a lot of work. Good thinking, writing, culture, but a lot of years to unfuck them up. And they're going to be changing your bedpan or IV drip or whatever, or we can't say Lucy that because she may be innocent. Even what's-his-face, Hitchens, says there's a problem. Right, but Chipman, there you go. That's why I'm leaving, to save my ass, because I want to live to 150 just to piss myself off. But that's what Ralph is, actually.